Yeah, Sherman and Sheridan. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it started recording?
Just cut fairly.
Okay. Grant's plan of total war. Grant adds a new strategy to end this war. He realizes it dragged on too long. However, this is a very extreme action that the Union takes. I can't even imagine living through this in the South.
Grant's goal is to destroy the South's ability to keep fighting. Now remember, the South is already struggling financially, with supplies, etc. Total war involved destroying everything the Union encountered in its path as it traveled through the South. This included destroying farms, burning crops, killing livestock, ripping up railroad tracks, and burning barns and houses. Not only did this destroy the South's ability to fight, but also its way to survive.
Millions will later be spent helping the South rebuild from this destruction. You've probably heard of it referred to as Reconstruction. Generals Sheridan and Sherman will be the two most responsible for this destruction. By the way, it was extremely effective. Check out these actual photographs showing the effects of total war. Some of you may have heard of the burning of Atlanta. This was the result of total war.
Victories here and elsewhere helped Lincoln win the re-election in 1864.
All right, your blank here, food shortages, millions later spent to rebuild the South, and this was called Reconstruction. So the Union tore it down and then reinvested money to help build it back up. And then here elsewhere helped Lincoln win re-election in 1864. All right.
Answer these questions to the right of this slide.
Who do you believe these people are? Where do you think they are? And what do you believe is happening? It says right there, what do you think they are? But it's supposed to be where do you think they are?
Sorry.
Okay, make sure you answer that. Appomattox, the final battle.
We have reached the end.
Woo!
The light is at the end of the tunnel. Appomattox will be the final battle. Appomattox is actually called Appomattox Courthouse. That's the name of the town. Weird, huh?
So it's not a courthouse. Appomattox Courthouse is the name of the town. Yeah, I just learned that like last year. All right, doesn't this sound familiar? Grant drives Union forces hard in 1864 toward Richmond, the Confederate capital. However, he will be more successful than any other Union general in this attempt.
Lee takes up a defensive position, meaning he falls back and digs himself in to create a stronghold. Lee holds out for 9 months. This was long enough to allow Jefferson Davis and the Confederate government time to escape to Atlanta and establish a new capital. Lee eventually surrenders to Grant, who offers very generous terms. The war ends officially on April 9, 1865.
As Ulysses S. Grant so eloquently put it, the war is over. The rebels are our countrymen again. He wanted to make it clear that this wasn't a time for Union soldiers to celebrate the win over the Confederates, but a chance for everyone to respect everyone as their American brothers once again.
Do we have any blanks on that one?
Yes, we do. Okay, this first one is toward Richmond, which was, of course, the Confederate capital. Right here we have 9 months. Right here we have Lee surrenders to Grant. And right here we have April 9th, 1865.
Here, once again, we can see these final battles that led to the end of the war. And here you can kind of see the marches to through Atlanta and through the South, where Sheridan and Sherman are coming through. And this, again, is total war.
All right. Ooh. I was just kidding. Okay, medical care. Now here's a topic that is sure to make some of your stomachs turn. I apologize, but it is certainly interesting and important to understand the devastation our nation faced as a result of this war.
As we mentioned with Stonewall Jackson, most gunshot wounds were fixed with amputation. You see, weapons had improved in accuracy and in destruction. Look at the bone pictured here. It is completely shattered from a bullet. However, medical care hadn't been able to keep up with this obliteration. So their solution was to amputate the limb or limbs affected by these gunshots.
Although some knew the importance of sterilization, it wasn't widely used or respected. As supplies were short and emergencies demanded immediate attention, most amputations were performed with no anesthesia. So patients were awake for these surgeries. If they were fortunate, a swig of whiskey was given. Okay, I'm feeling pain in all my limbs just thinking about these so-called surgeries.
More than half of the wounded will die from their injuries or infection, even if they had survived the surgery. 30% of one limb amputees died, and 50% of those who had multiple limbs amputated will die. What an extremely rough time.
Diseases like malaria, dysentery, pneumonia, and smallpox killed more men than battles. Amazing, huh? All right, let's look here at your blanks. Right here we have wounds with amputation. Sterilization was not used, so that means they didn't clean their instruments. More than half of the wounded died from injuries or infection. And then here, these things killed more men than battles.
This is a amputation being, like a picture of an actual amputation, and they're outside. How sanitary is that? Okay. Then down here, the wagons. These are ambulances. They actually had little ambulances that they used. And this right here, buddies, this is a bone saw. Ooh.
Okay, here are some of the lucky men who survived their battle injuries. I love the fact that they made some headway with prosthetics. Of course, prosthetics being, fake limbs. At least some were able to return to a somewhat livable life. Unfortunately, back then, these soldiers didn't have veteran benefits like our vets today, although it can never be enough to equal the sacrifices they made on the battlefield.